Looking at businesses of varying shapes and sizes every day, there's a couple of recurring themes that I come across. The focus is limited and execution is tough. Focus and execution are easily the two most common things lacking in the SME landscape. So today we're going to have a look just at the execution side and specifically the execution of projects. So up on the board here you'll see we have the 6 phases of the project life cycle. So we've got initiation, definition, planning, execution, completion and realisation. And following the steps in this project life cycle is not a guarantee of success. You still need focus, you need the judgment to prioritise the right projects. You need commitment and resource and everything else. But if you follow this structured process, you'll have a much better chance of success than if you don't. So let's assume you've got an idea that you'd like to implement. It should be something substantial, not just a minor project or a quick win. And this is the process to follow. So the first stage, which is the initiation or concept stage, this is where you've identified the objectives and have a concept of how they can be achieved. So you don't need chapter and verse here, simply what are you trying to achieve and what does success look like. So the second phase is definition. And once the project objectives have been identified, then you have to define the scope of work within the project. You look at potential solutions in terms of risks and costs and benefits. You need to be absolutely clear on what the parameters are, so what's included and what isn't. And then phase 3 is planning. So where the project is broken down into manageable areas of work and planned in terms of time and cost and resources. So this needs to happen before work begins, but it's also a continuous process and will extend throughout the execution phase of the project. So a key risk or reason for failure at this stage is not allocating the resources required to deliver the scope of the project. So don't fall into this trap. Number 4 is execution or implementation, where the rubber hits the road. And during this phase, the project is implemented, controlled and monitored. And if you've done the right things during the first 3 stages, this should be able to flow quite smoothly. Conversely, if the wheels are falling off during execution, it's probably because one of the previous stages wasn't handled correctly. But with a decent plan and the right accountability, just follow the milestones. The second last phase of the project life cycle is closure or completion, where the work is finished, the project goes live or is fully implemented. And with reference back to the initial stages, at this point should be clear. Have the milestones been completed? Have the success measures been achieved? And if so, the project is complete. The mistake that many business owners make is to think that the project is finished once it is completed. And this means that perhaps the most important stage of all is missed, which is the realisation of the project value. So thinking back to what you were trying to achieve at the start of the project, what the overall objectives were, it's likely that they haven't been fully achieved at the time of project completion. And that's why there is a 6th stage to ensure that the ultimate value of the project is realised. And this is where the project will be evaluated, it'll be monitored, tweaked and improved so that the full value of the project can be realised and achieved. So make sure you don't fall into the trap of assuming the project is finished just because it's completed. And that's the 6 phases of the project management or the project management life cycle, and it's a structured framework for getting better results out of your projects. So if you've got any questions or would like more detail, don't hesitate to reach out. As always, we'll see you again next week.